All right, so I tried yesterday to record some content for my first YouTube video. Did not go well. I posted about it on my Instagram, but basically what happened was I started filming. I'm just getting rice cakes prep. We're about to head to the gym, but anyways, I started filming, and like halfway through my first exercise, the camera stopped and it said I didn't have enough iCloud storage to continue recording. So I just up and bought, some storage right there. But I guess it takes time to back up, and it ended up, I wasn't gonna sit there and not work out. So I ended up not being able to record like half of the workout, so I wasn't gonna make a video with just half. So today we're trying again. I just got finished golfing with some of my friends, but I brought along rice cake and honey, my usual pre-workout snack. I haven't eaten in like 4 hours. Usually I eat around like 2 or 3 hours at a time, but that's okay. It's permissible because of the amount of calories I consumed in my cheat meal last night. So I'm pretty hungry, but all I've got is rice cakes, and that's probably fine just so I can get some carbs before the workout. But we are ready to get out of here. I've never recorded in my truck before, so this is gonna be a learning process because I don't know, it's not really my phone. I use my phone to record. It's not really in the most stable position. Yeah, so you're kind of wobbling a ton. For those that are golfers, we played a scramble today. It was a group of 8 guys split up into 2 foursomes, so 4 carts, because you can't really have more than like 5 people in one team. So we had 2 tee times. I don't know what me and my partner shot individually. I think together we shot about a 95. Not great. Also not bad considering I play the sport like once a month. But it's fun for me. It gets me some extra steps. I was cool with it, because it's like cardio a little bit, but it's more just a way for me to get away from my phone, away from my computer. I sit at a desk during the week, and then I sit at a desk at home trying to work on the personal brand. But so it's good for me to kind of get out, hang out with some boys, mess around in the woods, whatever. I say that because most of my golf balls end up in the woods. But hey, scramble means that's all right if you know anything about golf. Pre's almost finished. I will grab the phone here in a sec. All right, pre is done. I think instead of holding the phone, I'll just deal with it being a little shaky. Maybe I can edit that out later. I don't know. So basically, the reason I'm the reason I'm adding content to YouTube now is because for a while, probably for about 8 months, I've been trying to grow an online presence just through Instagram. I've been posting reels. I have an account, pump_para. I only have like 90 followers, but in 8 months, wasn't really consistent, most of them. It's not so bad. Also considering this is why I'm switching now, but my content's not really for everybody or for anyone in particular. And that's kind of the point of why I'm trying to switch. So basically, I just have been using ChatGPT, using my own knowledge, and saying, hey, I've been working out long enough, and I'm never completely, satisfied with where I sit, just because if I did that, then there would be no point in me going to the gym and trying to get bigger, more shredded. But I will say I'm satisfied with my progress over the past 5 years, I'd say. 5 years, I'd say. And at this point, I'm like, I work a desk job, but I have a lot of free time after work. Why not try and build something for myself? I see everybody I watch has the same idea, and obviously they're better at it, they have more experience, but there's no reason I can't try. So there's that factor. But the actual bigger factor for why I'm making it a point, like today, it's a Saturday, I'm not waiting for a start of a new week, nothing like that. The reason I'm starting it today is because I think the problem with my current strategy to growing my online presence through Instagram is flawed, in the sense that I'm kind of unintentionally presenting myself as like a fitness guru, where if somebody that doesn't know me at all were to see one of my Instagram reels, they would assume that I am trying to present myself as an authoritative figure in the fitness scene who knows everything you would need to know as someone who is trying to, improve their fitness. And the problem with that is that I'm not certified as like a personal trainer. I don't have a following. Like, the only people that are willing to listen to me and have seen results from listening to me about fitness is, my closest friends, some of my family members, and that's pretty much it, right? Unless they get referred by one of those people from the same groups. And so I'm kind of switching my strategy now to, you know what, first of all, I'm not really in a position to present myself as a professional fitness trainer or coach just yet, because really I only have experience with a couple guys, training a couple guys, and even then it was just telling them what I do to get, bigger and stronger, what's worked for me. But I won't pretend like my style of training is the only one that helps people. And I think that's kind of what's doing it for me at this point, is like, you know what, I think instead of just telling everybody that I'm I guess not telling everybody, but putting it out online that, hey, I'm a guy that's big on fitness, and I'm here to coach you if you're ready. I don't even really have the infrastructure for that. I've kind of just been doing it informally for quite a few guys, and so in my mind at the time I was like, well, why not try and monetize that? But I think it's going to take more patience on my end. Like, I need to actually work to build a following of people that follow me, not because I'm some guru that's going to help them get fit in a week, but more because they like what I do, they like my personality, they relate to me in some way, and that's why they follow me. And then from there, that's all it takes to build a personal brand, is just some sort of a community of people that appreciate for some reason what you do. So that's my new strategy. Now what that means in application is basically that instead of just making something up every day to post on Instagram, as far as like here's a training tip I like to do, or do this if you want to lose weight, or giving client testimonials, which I have a couple. Like I said, I've helped a few dudes, but I'm just going to switch it more to like raw documentation of my lifestyle, what it is I do. Like you saw in this video, for example, like I truly do eat a couple rice cakes with honey before I go work out, and if that's your style, cool. If you like that, whatever. But it's not going to be, the focus is not going to be on teaching anymore. It's just going to be a documentation of my lifestyle, my training habits, what I've found has worked for me over the years. And truthfully, like, it's just going to be a documentation of me still trying to pursue my own goals. And if in the end there's a group of people that connect with what I'm posting and they follow me for that reason, then so be it. And that's the goal. But I'm just going to treat it more like a documentation than anything on my social media. So that said, reels are going to look different. It's just going to be raw documentation, like I said. YouTube is going to be me kind of expressing what it's like in long form to pursue the goals I have for myself. And that's it. That's it, man. So with all that said, what are my goals? Well, I think for the first time I got introduced to, what we call fitness, honestly, it's not even really fitness for me. It's more of like a power building. If you're familiar with powerlifting and bodybuilding, it's kind of just a combo of those. But really the end goal is I just want to be as big, strong, and lean as I possibly can. And I work for the military, so it's not like I can just go and take some performance enhancing drugs and just do it in a year. It's highly illegal in my career field, so we're doing it naturally. And also, like, I don't want to I don't want to just assume that my natural plateau is something I can't break through, and that, you know, I have to take gear in order to break that, to become what it is I want to become. So we're doing it naturally. You know, who's to say what's going to happen in the future? Obviously, I don't want to risk I don't want to have any deal with any of the health risks that come with some of those compounds. But that aside, my goal since I was like 14 has been, I just want to be huge. I want to be massive. I want to be somebody that walks in a room and people are like, holy cow, look at that dude. And not because I want them to like gawk at how I look and my body. It's more like, it's taken me a long time to figure this out, but it's more like I just want to be respected for some reason. And, you know, I'm decently smart. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'm, you know, some sort of genius. I can think for myself. I'm not really above average in that sense. I don't really care about looks too much. It's not something that I attract for other people or myself. It's just, and also like, I don't know. I think the biggest thing is I kind of grew up as a weirder kid. You know, I was content wearing whatever kind of clothes. I was content doing whatever kind of thing interested me, and I didn't really care what other people thought for a long time, really till I was 14. And you know, that works for kids. That's how all kids should be, and that's how all kids are really until a certain age, in which they start grasping the concept of peer pressure. You know, their peers are telling them they have to look a certain way or act a certain way. And it took me a long time to reach that point, or like I said, till I was like 14. But basically what happened is, from the time period of like 12 years old to 14 years old, I was still kind of off in my own world, happy with how I was living and what I looked like, and, you know, my interests. And I didn't really care what other people thought. And I didn't think that other people had a separate opinion of me. But slowly over those 2 years, what I think was happening was other people were starting to grasp the concept of, you know, there's societal norms faster than I was. And so they kind of shy away from me. They're like, I don't want to be associated with this kind of guy. You know, he's just wearing a graphic tee. He doesn't have the newest Nike polo like I do, or the newest Nike hoodie. He's not even wearing Jordans. Who is this kid, you know? And so, you know, while I'm kind of doing my own thing, that's happening. I wouldn't say I was ostracized. I always had a couple friends, you know. But I distinctly remember, like, at one point, some dude during gym PE class telling me I had like a third grader's haircut. And I was like, what do you mean? You know, and which is true. I didn't change my hairstyle since like third grade. But that was like the first time I really thought, like, oh, you know, people have an opinion on me based on how I look. And so from then on, like, it was sort of a progression of like, oh, you know what, like, this actually makes a lot of sense. Like, people that talked to me before want nothing to do with me. I haven't talked to them in forever, and I just didn't pay any mind to it. But now I think it's because I didn't really fit in with them. And so, you know, by the time I had fully realized that, I think it was, you know, maybe, I don't know if this is the right exit I'm taking here, but we're going to try it. There goes my water bottle. Yeah, that was it. Probably should have just taken the next exit, but anyways. So it came to a point where I was like, wow, like I don't really fit in with any certain group of people. I'm not great at football, although I played football, and that's where all my friends do. So, you know, I had moved to a new school, to a new city, close by, but still to a new city right at that same time, about 8th grade. And so I'm like, what can I do to make people realize I am cool and that I should be somebody they talk to and hang out with? And so, you know, conveniently right about that time also was, for the first time, for like a gym credit at school, I could take a weight training course. And I was like, yeah, like, you know, that sounds cool. All I know about weight training is that that's what you do. That's what big guys do. That's how you get big muscles. And big muscle sounds like something that could, you know, could help me fit in better, or at least be accepted. So that's what I did. That's what I chose. At the beginning, it kind of just made it worse, actually, because then, like, all of the football players I was trying to fit in with, also took that class and were also stronger than me. And I was like, oh man, like, can't catch a break, right? You're at practice and nobody really knows anything about you or cares to know about you because you're not cool. And in the only environment that they're forced to hang out with you, you're weaker than them. So I think that's what the initial drive was. And it's taken me a long time and a couple of long conversations really with my wife that she was kind of prying about like why I care so much about it. And you know, at this point, until I had thought really deep about it, it was like, well, it's just cool. It's just cool to be big. And you know, I just like it. But really, I think it stems from that. I think it all stemmed from the fact that I initially just wanted people to think I was worth hanging out with, and that I had a redeemable quality, and it was just going to be, you know, being strong and big. So from there, if that was the original thing that started it, you know, I think I thought of it that way in the beginning, but once it became a habit for me, it was, you know, well, I liked weight training. I really enjoyed it actually, you know, that first year. So 9th grade comes around, we take it again. Done it for 2 years now, somewhat consistently. It's just during the school day. And then 10th grade comes around and I take it again. So this is 3 years in a row now. But at this point, I'm also getting introduced to weight training for the football team, for baseball. You know, I played sports in high school. And I'd made more friends by this point through the sports programs and through schools and just from experience being there. So it wasn't really a thought for me anymore. But for some reason the drive was still there. It was like there's still room for me to improve always. And of course, you know, in the beginning, everybody kind of compares themselves to somebody that's doing it better, and I still do today. But so I just kept going at it, and eventually I remember one year for Christmas, I think it was Christmas or my birthday, I think it was Christmas, I specifically asked my mom, I said, hey, for Christmas, like I just want a gym membership, and there was a gym conveniently like within walking distance of my hometown house, and she gave it to me. She was a little hesitant. She was like, "Oh, I think you just want to go so you can look at, you know, all the chicks that work out there." And I was like, "What? No, I don't care about that." And I really didn't. I just wanted to be big, and I wanted to train outside of the hours in which I was already required to train for the sports teams. So I started going with my best friend, this was the first time I ever went consistently on my own accord. I was 15 years old. Me and my best friend would go like 5:30 a.m. before school. And we did that for like a year or two. We would always just go before school and we'd make it work. And if we couldn't go before, we'd go after school. But I would lift like 5 times a week. And that was when I really started seeing my initial gains. I don't know if it was just a combination of the fact that I was finally like physically developed enough, old enough to like see real gains. But I started seeing gains and I was like, wow, this is really cool. You know, I actually really enjoy this. I think I'm going in the wrong parking lot here. But anyways, that'll just give me more time to talk, I guess. So, but basically, I just kept at it, kept going before school, kept going after. And then we're looking at maybe junior year of high school. I didn't really stop, but I kind of took a break away from being so consistent just because I was playing so much baseball. I didn't really have time to go, you know, before and after school, because if I went before school, you know, my day starts at 5:30, and then baseball went till like 8 p.m. anyways from after school. So it was like, yeah, you gotta have time for homework, you gotta have time for family, friends, whatever. So I didn't really go as consistently that year. Senior year came around, and for me that was COVID-19 era. So that actually was the start, that was the pinnacle of what I consider to be when I actually started going consistently and with a real idea of what I was trying to achieve. And I remember, rest in peace, but Joe Linder, if you guys are familiar with who that is, Joe Aesthetics was his Instagram handle. He was actually the guy that first got me into like the bodybuilding style of training, because I saw, like I said, you know, I was always attracted to the idea of being bigger, stronger, but I never really considered types of training. It was just, I'm lifting weights and that's good enough for me. But like I said, I saw Joe Linder as I'm sitting there on my phone senior year, nothing else to do, locked up in my house. And I was like, whoa, like this dude looks nuts, you know? I want to look like that. So from then on, I kind of would just copy his, the stuff he'd post about, his training splits, his workout regimens. And then you follow him, you start following other guys, you start realizing like all the hype about why people love Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's like, oh, he was a bodybuilder. He's not just some, politician turned actor turned whatever. He's done a ton of things in his life. But so I kind of got exposed to that side of the fitness industry, I guess. And I guess I realized that there was a fitness industry for the first time. And then I really got serious into it. Senior year was probably the most lean I've ever looked. I don't know. I'm pretty comparable now, 5 years later, but bigger. Obviously, I mean that would only make sense. It's been 5 years. But senior year, I got of high school, which is now 5 years ago for me. I got really shredded. I was taking it super serious. I would go. First of all, I was training to join the military, so I was doing a ton of cardio, but also I was still lifting because I loved it, and I was seeing great gains. And that went well for about a year. And then I joined the military, went through basic training, lost all my gains. I literally lost like 12 pounds. And I was shredded already, so I know that was all muscle. And that sucked because you can't train in basic. You're eating whatever they feed you. You don't have control over your diet. So I spent the next, 2 or 3 years. Now I'm in the military at this point and in college at the same time. So, I was lifting consistently. Recovery wasn't the best because there's a lot of late nights and a lot of trainings for the military on top of my personal training. But I still kept after it, and I still was making gains, and I was still very consistent for like the last 4 years or so. And now we're here, and it's just become so ingrained in like how I live and what I do that I don't really see it ever going away. And if that's the case, I think it's about time I start documenting this journey that I've been on for so long as a way to, maybe inspire somebody that's like-minded to me, that has similar thoughts, has a similar ideology of how they fit in this world. And, if I can inspire any number of people to change some unhealthy lifestyle habits and get in the gym. And I'm not even really big on like the fitness side. Like I said, I just want to be big. I just want to be big and strong, and that's it for me. But in any aspect, like getting in the gym and doing any sort of style of training is still better in my eyes than no gym. And I think it's really important for people, especially in the day and age. Sorry, it's kind of wobbling a lot. I'm going through a parking lot, but especially in the day and age we live in, where it's easy. Like we don't have to be fit to survive. We don't have to be strong. And even though like I do bodybuilding and strength training as like my main training style, it's come in handy in countless numbers of ways. Like it helped me in the military, like for my fitness tests. Like I never trained to do more push-ups and pull-ups, but the fact that my chest days and back days were oh man, there's a lot of cars in this gym. I hope that's not all. This parking lot shares a building, or shares, yeah. Multiple buildings share this parking lot, so I hope it's not so packed. But anyways, I never trained to be better at my military fitness tests. It just kind of came as a result of me training. And just like anything else in life, as in application to anything else in life as well, like things are just better when you're stronger and you're more fit. You're capable of achieving more physically, mentally, spiritually, really in any light or aspect, if you're a fit person. And so I can't even tell you what fitness has done for me. Like people I've got to meet and train with, and the friends I've made through this common passion, I'd say. And so now that I'm at that point, I really just want to start branching out into how can I be a part of random people's lives just by posting content about what it is I do to achieve my goals. Because I know I'm not the only dude in the world, obviously. Like, I'm not the only guy posting. And I'm kind of just copying like a Sam Sulek vibe right now, where I'm just recording in my car, and then you guys are going to get to see the lift as well. But I don't care. I don't really care what anybody says. It's I don't know. It's taken me too long to get to this point. And I don't know. I think I'm just kind of rambling at this point, but you guys get the point. I just wanted to share with you the background, as my first video, why it is I'm doing what I'm doing, the thought and the structure behind what's to come. and hopefully people can relate to that. And if you do, you know, let me know, reach out, and we can talk or something. I don't know how this works. I'm not an influencer. I don't really know how to talk to a camera, but we're gonna make it happen. So with all that said, I'm waiting for my wife. We don't work out together, but we go to the gym at the same time together just because it's convenient and we get to see each other in passing. And, you know, with all the work I do outside of work, I don't really get to spend a ton of time with her. So this is one thing we do together. But basically, the plan for today, I'm feeling hyped up off the pre. I've got plenty of carbs in my system. It should be a good training session. Shoulders and arms, generally more volume for these muscle groups. But yeah, we'll get into it. I'll record the workout, and yeah, we'll just see you in there. So basically, well, not basically, this just is the truth. I'm here at a new gym today. I don't know if I said this earlier in the truck, but this is my wife's, the college campus she works at, and I get a free gym membership here since she's the staff. So that's kind of nice. The reason I'm here is because the gym I was going to on base told me I'm not allowed to record content there anymore. So they said it makes people feel uncomfortable, which I can get that. So instead of trying to push back, I'm just gonna find a new solution. So we're here at this new gym. I'll give you guys a quick rundown once we get in there, but I gotta go sign in, so we'll see you in there. We've got 155 on the Smith machine, but I think there's some sort of, I don't know how, maybe it's just the weight, maybe I'm just weak, but I think there's some sort of like spring loading mechanism, because it feels harder the harder I'm pushing it up to push up. I don't know if that made any sense, but maybe that's just gravity, whatever. I'm not really focused on how much weight, it's more like how close am I to achieving failure. So with that, I think this will be my first top set. One. Three. Okay, that's 8. Yeah, that was difficult. Kind of had to engage more of the upper chest in that last one. But that's all right. That was overall good. Just trying to put a good load on the front delts here. Anterior deltoid. Not that that matters, but I think I'm gonna pull it just a little bit forward. All right. We're going back for top set number 2. Two more. Come on. See, that is why I prefer the Smith machine, because if there wasn't another way to rack that weight, I might have had it dropped on my femur and caused some problems, or my face, even worse. That was a good set. I don't think I waited enough in between the two to give the shoulders a decent amount of rest, but we will take a little longer between this one. Last set. I might do a drop set. Actually, I will do a drop set just to squeeze a little more out of the delts. But all right, 3, 2. 4. 5. Okay, yeah, I'm not getting any more. I would have just failed, so we'll start the drop set. I think we'll just do a 25. Decrease the weight by like half. All right, like 20 seconds rest in between means I'm good to go. Bad stuff. Okay. Yeah, that was good. I'm feeling pumped in the front delts, anterior delts. That was good. I think with that, we'll move on to the next movement. All right, so I found me a little corner in this section of this gym. You can kind of see all of it, I think, in the reflection, but idea here is that we're gonna do seated lat raises. And the reason I'm just gonna do it seated, it's not really for any other reason except for I just don't want to be able to use any excessive momentum to help me get them up that I might be able to standing. But otherwise, pretty easy movement. Right now I'm just warming up. Probably go heavier than this. I have 15s right now. There's one. All right, there's 10. We've got lat raises. Okay. That was like 17 total reps. Really only like 12 solid ones, but we do what we can, even if they're half reps at the end. Let's go for another set. Okay. All right. Another good set. You can feel the shoulders getting pumped up. Yeah, they're small, but they're pumped at least. This is kind of an awkward place to film because the lobby waiting room area is like directly to my left here, so I don't want to, get people who don't want to be recorded in here, but it'll do. So all we're doing here is some rear delt activation, going out but also down with a nice stretch in this part of the movement. Yeah. Yeah. So if you notice at the end, I'm kind of just really pulling with the rear delt. At a certain point, you get too fatigued to keep doing the main movement. So just do that from this angle. There we go. There's a mirror right next to me. Stretch. To get going on that movement. All right, so increasing the weight was not the move. Couldn't even do the whole movement. So, lesson learned. We will decrease it and just continue as I was. Yeah. Man, just cooking the rear delts. Absolutely cooking them. One might ask why I'm not just using both at the same time. You know, the truthful answer is I just didn't think of that before I started this, but yeah. Oh. It's killer. It's killer, man. So we're gonna move on to the next thing. We're gonna warm up. Ooh, the chest is sore from yesterday. And the rear delts from today. But anyways, we're gonna warm up for some skull crushers. This is 40 pounds. Ooh, that is tough on the joints. But such a good movement. That's why you warm up, because by the end of this set, the joints will be nice and lubricated and ready for more weight. All right. Oh, okay. Oh, those little presses at the end are a good burnout for, you know, just making sure I'm squeezing everything I can out of the triceps in each set. Okay. 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 Oh. Man. Jeez, dude. Oh. Okay, that's gonna be enough. Oh, just a couple of presses. Okay. Oh man. See if I can give you a little. You can't see the tricep. I'm small. Yeah. So we're back once again at the same cable machine. Just the other side of it. Come on. We're gonna go all the way up. We're gonna get rid of this. This is a movement I really haven't, so over time you get an idea of things that work for you, and things you kind of just stick with no matter what your split looks like. This is one of them for triceps, at least. For probably like 3 years now, since my buddy, his name was Zach, I haven't seen him in forever, but he showed me this. We basically it's a single arm tricep cable push down. I mean, it's not like this is rocket science here, but I'll probably go a little heavier. But I'll show you the reason I like this once I fail. So. Okay, this is why I like this movement, because I can pull it all the way down. Let's do negatives on the way back up. And man, they suck, but they are effective. Oh. Oh. Okay. Oh, man. I cannot do any more than that, so we will switch to this side. And this is my bad elbow. If you notice that the tricep looks a little deformed, it's because it is. And I can't get a full range of motion on the way down. But it's not gonna stop me from still trying to grow some pythons of arms. Okay. Wow. Oh man, okay. Oh. That will suffice for triceps. So this is a setup I've been looking forward to trying. I'm just gonna sit in it and see if this is feasible. Yeah, I'd say this is feasible. No matter. We're gonna lift this, hopefully. Yeah. Okay, man. So this is the best part about preacher curls is, normal arms, when you lay them here, it looks like you got a couple guns. Looks like you got some big ol'. Don't be fooled though, they're not actually that big. One day. Okay. A third, maybe a fourth set. Once again, flex D. This is mandatory, you know, if you're doing preacher curls. It's the only time your arms will look big. Okay. Oh. Oh. Come on. All right. We've got one last return to the corner of isolation and solitude. I'm gonna grab 25s because I think the biceps are already pretty cooked. One to have. Oh, that's tough. Okay. One set of hammer curls completed. Man. Those are tough sets. I won't lie. There's 30s, 2 failure. I expect like maybe 8 more each. Okay. The left bicep gave out first. Is it worth? Yeah. Let's do some holds. Okay. Oh. All right. I think that that's going to do it for the workout today. The triceps are pumped, biceps are pumped, shoulders are feeling good. I think that's it. So as far as mirrors go, there's really only one in this whole establishment that would be an acceptable location for me to do some, you know, to do a Zeke check. But you know, this is where I'm sitting for sort of my maintaining kind of diet. I got a little bit of fat that I hold around the trunk, but overall the pump was not bad for today. I can't really see what I'm doing from this side, but hopefully that looks sick. I can't really tell. This is the back. gonna take me probably as long as I live. Well, as long as I'm, let me grab my mic. As long as I'm in my prime, really, to achieve the physique I want. It's not gonna come overnight. And you know, like we talked about in the truck earlier too, neither is my endeavors in trying to gain a following online. So I'll just treat it the same, I guess. Just keep coming in, day out. But yeah, hope you guys got something out of this. Enjoy it. Obviously, this is gonna be my first video. I'll have no subscribers, so feel free to subscribe. Anyways, that'll be it until the next video.